Hey there, HR professionals, executives, leaders of all shapes, sorts, sizes, fashions, you name it. Today, we're going to talk about another training trend for 2019 that it's important for your organization to explore. It's called experiential learning. And I want to talk to you about how to create experiential learning opportunities within your organization and why they are critical for today's learner. Depending upon what resource you follow or where you learned training or what have you, there are about 3 to 4 different learning styles. There's a new one that's kind of been out here in the marketplace floating around called reading and writing. But to my knowledge and the way that I was trained, raised up, and all of that good stuff, we focused on kinesthetic learning, visual learning, and auditory learning. And what's the difference betwixt the three? But then let me also challenge you with this. As technology is advancing and growing, and it is a huge part of who we have become in the world, we don't know how to do anything without devices in our hand. You really have to consider experiential learning on so many different planes. And so when I talk about experiential learning, I'm talking about total immersion learning. I'm talking about creating a culture of learning, creating an environment that's totally immersive so that everywhere your employees go or everything that they touch provides them an opportunity to learn. Or even just if you restrict it to just the learning environment. Does your training program expose your trainees to the ability to learn through kinesthetic? So that's through touching, that's through total interaction, through auditory, through hearing, right? There are people who just need to hear a thing, and then there are people who have to see visuals, right? It's not enough to just have a speaker or a trainer at the front of the room. They have to have actual visual elements. So whether that's color, whether that's depth, and then your kinesthetic learners, they have to be touching, they have to be active, they have to have activities and things of that nature. So it's very important that you understand this concept as you are building out your training programs, because you will have people who do not know how to learn outside of their learning style. And so if you have just a trainer standing at the front of the room, which provides an auditory experience, you may turn off your visual or your kinesthetic learners. They may not grasp the concepts that you are putting out into the environment. And so with that being said, I challenge you to create experiential opportunities where you actually have all three learning styles represented throughout the training activities or programs that you bring in. And even let me say this, even something as simple as for the kinesthetic learner, bringing in, little toys to sit on the table during the learning process. So different textures and having a Play-Doh on the table, even little things like that can make all the difference in the world for the kinesthetic learner. Now, for the visual learner, in your PowerPoint presentations, you want to have depth, you want to have color, you want to have different sized fonts, you want to have different elements, videos, different elements of engagement for that visual learner. Now, for the auditory learner, again, it's all auditory. So they're listening for specific things. So you really want to play with sound. You want to play with music. You want to do things that engage the auditory senses, right? So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Just one more tip for you guys to enhance your learning experience in your organization. There's so many ways to do it, so many ways to make learning fun. But let me tell you, everybody wants to learn, grow, and develop. So keep it simple and have a little bit of fun, but just make sure more than anything that you are providing content that transforms and changes lives. So with that being said, peace out, guys. I will come back tomorrow with yet another training trend for 2019.